All right. Again, this is the First Friday Poetry Spectacular coming to you from Karma Cafe in Canton, Ohio. The recording just got started. We do not record the open mic part. That way people don't have to worry about, trying out rough drafts. As Skylark just mentioned, in 2 weeks now, the third Friday of every month, we will have the Stardust Poetry Show. I will be guest emceeing this month's show since Skylark is involved with the performance a little further north. Our featured poet, and I'm very, very likely to mispronounce his name, but our feature will be Watabu Okanta. He is a professor and the poet in residence at the Kent State University Department of Pan-African Studies. He just had a new book come out called Muntu Kuntu Energy. That's also the name of a poetry music combo band that he leads. He will be here reading from the new book, as well as hopefully some of his other material. He's got like 9 books out already. And we'll be doing a signing as well. The Stardust Show is an open mic and a feature read. Future shows may actually include more than one featured poet. I've actually got one coming up that's I already know is going to be 2 features. Again, that is the third Friday of the month. First Friday is obviously First Friday, then Stardust will now be third Fridays here at Karma Cafe. All right. Now we come to tonight's regular Poetry Slam. We've got 2 slams tonight. We have, first of all, our normal First Friday Slam, which is both the first Lake Effect 2013 National Poetry Slam Team Qualifier. Points will be awarded to all poets competing in this slam based on their rank in the scoring. We will have qualifiers for the next 3 months, hopefully at least 2 a month, possibly a few more. The next one will be at the Root and Slam on the 4th Friday this month. Phoenix Andre Clown will be the feature. That's at the Root Cafe in Lakewood, Ohio. Lake Effect Poetry represents Cleveland, Akron, and Canton, so we spread out our events there. In addition to that being a qualifier for our national team, it is also the last chance slam for our Women of the World finals. The highest scoring female poet not already qualified for our finals will win the 4th spot in our final competition for Women of the World. After the slam, we will have our Women of the World final. I know, this is a little bit complicated. After the regular slam, we will have our featured Women of the World slam. It will be 3 rounds, cumulative scoring, 4 poets in competition, the 4th of which will be determined by the regular slam. There is a no repeat rule in effect between the 2 slams, ladies, so if you are in both slams, make sure you've got 4 pieces ready. The normal rules are in effect: no props, 3 minute. If you go over, you lose points. 10-second grace period, etc., etc. You all know the drill. I don't see. Well, we do have a couple rookies here, but it's all yeah. You'll get the hang of it. All right. I don't have a sack. I don't have a sacrifice. Yeah, I've only got 1 judge. I'm behind here. I'm so focused on this live broadcast that I'm forgetting what I'm doing here. Yeah. This is this is at least our second month in a row we have a 10-year-old judging the Poetry Slam. As I've said, she's quite probably one of the most mature poets in the room. That's not exactly a big compliment to her. It's rather just a simple statement of the facts about the rest of us. However, I recently learned that a poetry slam in Chicago featured a 2-month-old judge a few weeks ago. And she's Billy Tuggle's daughter, which, automatically qualifies her as a perfect judge. So, yeah, legacy. All right, I still don't have a sack. You're competing. You can't sack. You know what? The sacrificial poet. They come up here and they do a piece, first blood on the mic. They do a piece, they're not actually in the competition.
But they get judged as if they are in the competition. It is to calibrate.
Yeah, it's so that the judges can calibrate. If then whatever the score the judges give the sacrificial poet, the calibration poet, if the other poets in the competition are better, they get a higher score. If they're not as good, they get a lower score. It gives them a place to set their judging criteria at. Would you be interested in sacrificing? I know.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kendrick Wolf.
Well, I don't have anything prepared. So that's my sacrifice. Except I have my car keys stuck on my finger like a cock ring, too close to the testicles. And I have a zipper that comes up and down, which reminds me of something that I used to do a lot of but don't do so much anymore. Do you get my point? Poetry slam. Poetry slam. Slam. Cut me a couple slices of that poetry salami over there and put that in a nice little bun of Shakespeare and this gentleman down here with an orange hat that makes me wish that if I were black, I want to look just like him. That's it. That's it. Here, this must be my karma at the Karma Cafe. Who the hell do you think you are? You're beautiful is who you are. Because I have two eyes, like this lady who spoke about her blind husband. Is he black? No, but I think he knows what it's like. That's a good poet. And this lady right here with this gastronomical, earth-screwing, shale-shaking, poison water pimple that bursts in a glass of tea. What the hell is that? Oh, it's the new flavor. It's called shit slime from way down deep. Well, that's it, folks. I am the sacrificial poet this evening. And I am wearing black shoes. And it's my girlfriend, Rhonda, right over there. And the shoes on my feet, I can't explain this, were given to me by her father. Now, what's that all about? I'm leaving right now.
I got it. All right, judges. You're going to give me a score from 0 to 10. 0 being, dear poet, don't ever write again. 10 being, dear poet, I want to give birth to your children. If you can use decimal points, nothing too complicated, you know, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. I'm an editor, not a mathematician. Thank you very much. That was Kedrick Wolf. He is a world-renowned yoga instructor, and is what I saw on the internet wrong? Were you not the first patient to die on Dr. Carter's table? He guest starred in the very first episode of ER. All right, our scores from low to high. We have a 7, an 8.25, an 8.75, a 9.5, and a 10. I can 1 decimal point. I can handle quarters. I just have to think of it like money. All right. Yeah, we have a 0.25, a 0.5, and a 0.75. I can do that. That's math. That's money. It's not math. It's money. All right. Let's get into this competition. First up, Carla.
Becoming Laura, I love you. We have just met, and I already see the dampness behind your lips. Words meant to deceive me show how well you have tricked yourself. It was hard for you to come here tonight. The place you and your man used to come together, I'm not sure if anyone ever has or if you forgot how, but I love you. Fragile, rocking, bird-like tender, he you think has hurt you. He ran off with his little chickie poo, your words. And you imply that no man in their 50s should be dating someone 17 years younger than him, as old as his daughter even. Well, love knows no boundaries and lust has never heard of them, so the months pass and your passing tears are words bitter on your tongue, and I love you. I feel your fear. Loneliness is too near to the skin, leaving scars across generational lines. I hear with ears not blind. It's translation time. It's a process. Means I still miss him. I don't know what he sees in her. Means fucking whore took my man. He felt bad that I made more money than him. Means I let him bleed me dry. Better to be brittle than alone, right? I love you. Take off those glasses, paint your toenails fuchsia preferred, and get rid of that goddamn ponytail. You have played it safe for far too long. You have been a shadow of feminine possibilities, wishing to be modest. A woman in her 50s should walk, hell, run from inexcusable mates, should dress tawdry and know how to shimmy, should know how to masturbate a myriad of ways, should be able to play poker and fix a toilet, should feel sorry for the chickie poos not blessed with the knowledge that they, remarkable goddess of a woman, possess. I love you. Love you. You should take no shit, and if you do, well, a woman in her 50s should know better.
All right, judges, let's get those scores up. All right, from low to high, we have a 7, an 8.75, a 9, a 9.5, and a 9.75. All right, our sacrificial poet had a score of 26.5. Our next competitor is Kathleen Gallagher.
I'm going to use this. The artist as a bat. I can broom one down with the best of them, shoo them out of porches and attic corners for old ladies, and shout at them to protect the screaming children. My next-door neighbor reports he's never seen so many crazy bats in the sky as he has this year. At dusk, dozens fly above my head, and I'm swimming on a childhood summer night, throwing water up into the darkness, attracting the bats. No fear of lack of order then. We encourage the downward flight toward the drops of water, shiny insects to the bats. We would dive deep, not surfacing until they were gone. So who would want to save a bat? Yes, there are bat houses, houses where little fears are kept, small boxes with even smaller shelves stacked high atop the other. Once I saw one whose label read, "Bats are going instinct." I read the label again, instinct or extinct. I mustn't lose my instincts to call on the bats. Let the artists lose their fears. Let their own erratic flights of mind move fast like the bats. Move fast, their own nature, a freakish dusk, showing blackness and hysterical rhythms, going, watch out. Let them fly and fly and fly, and every 10 feet turn direction without warning into your minds, those irrational elements that alight on an otherwise sweet summer evening's consciousness. Join the honeysuckled twilight. Look up and call upon the blinded wings.
All right, from low to high, we have a 7, an 8.25, an 8.5, an 8.5, and a 9. Carla had a score of 27.25. Okay. Well, I hear talk. Never mind. Okay. Our next competitor of the evening is Red.
How's everybody doing? Oh wow. That's my son. Oh. In case you didn't know. Mama, may I look into your eyes once more? See your beautiful smile. Feel your warm embrace. Hear you call out to me, "Baby, come here. Let mama kiss it, make it feel better." And yes, your kisses always took the pain away. Mama, please help me erase the image of you lying lifeless, no twinkle in your eye. You see, being only a child, I could not comprehend that you were never coming home again. I looked looked into your final resting place, wondering why you would not rouse from your deep sleep. Of course, my family tried to explain. She's gone to see God's grace. She's going to take her honored place. God, he needed another angel by his side. And I screamed, I need my mama more than God. But no one could hear my inner cries. My lips never parted. So, I made up in my mind. I said, it's all a bad dream. I'm gonna wake up. You just wait and see. And mama, she'll be standing right here just like old times. But days turned to weeks and weeks turned to years, and the ability for me to share graduation, promotions, marriage, the birth of my children, all stolen away from me. Even the simple act of saying Happy Mother's Day. Flashback to a pitiful child's silly wish. Mama, please open your eyes. Mama, please don't leave me. Mama, please don't let this be goodbye. Thank you.
All right, judges. All right, from low to high, we have a 7.7, an 8, a 9, a 9.75, and a 10. Kathleen had a score of 25.25. Our next competitor is T.M. Gottel.
Pull up your pants. That's the only thing I want to tell you as you stand across the library circulation desk from me. A waistband should be at your waist, and your waist is not 2 inches above the knees. 2 inches above the knees is the required length of a Catholic schoolgirl's plaid skirt, not the minimum required height at which to wear your pants. Pull up your pants. I am not fooled by you all of a stinking wet 17, 18 years, and though maybe I should be, I am not scared by you. Do you even know how anserine you look, waddling between shelves of DVDs with one hand texting and the other clinging futilely to your drawers? And anserine, that means goose-like, which you might know if you bothered with anything in this building beyond where's your movies. And when you act in speech and manner in what you think will impress me with your adulthood, but you ask if your signature needs to be in cursive, let me tell you that step 1 to adulthood is pull up your pants. And I am so angry at you right now because you are so beautiful. You are young and strong and healthy. The blood of God heats the walls of your veins, the blood of warrior men and warrior women, the blood of holy men, saints, kings, the blood of men who died to save your greatnesses of grandmothers, the blood of great-grandmothers who died to save their sons, your greatnesses of grandfathers, the blood of farmers, herdsmen, carpenters, bricklayers, butchers, tailors and seamstresses, spinners and weavers, people who fed and clothed and sheltered, the blood of doctors and herbalists and medicine men, thieves and liars, slaves and slave owners, those who gave life and those who took it away. The blood of dreamers, of singers and storytellers, of inventors who harnessed wind and stone and light. I am so angry at you because you are so beautiful in your ancestral shoes that crossed nations, borders, and oceans to stand in front of me right now. You are so beautiful. You, the product of millions of years of intention and chance, the clusters of cells, molecular bonds, interlocking structures of fiber, plasma, and energy. You are so beautiful, and the hands of thousands of gods rest on your shoulders, every one of them watching as you mask your squirm over a missing CD and a $25 fine, watching your tongue sanding backwards at my patience, watching you stare down into your LCDs and tell me one more cockscrow denial of your beauty, one more leech on your blood collateral. I grieve in the prints of my fingers that know you as brother, that you are so beautiful with hope and history, but spend the coin of your parentage, the coin of light in the thinning walls of your heart in this way. And no, I can't make you do anything, but I want you to remember that you are beautiful, that you deserve your own respect. I want you to take one small care to know that I know you are beautiful. Just start by pulling up your pants.
All right, judges. I need to buy new pens. My pens are all dying on me up here. All right. From low to high, we have a 7.8, a 9.5, a 9.5, a 10, and a 10. Red had a score of 26.75. Our next competitor is Kara Lee.
A list of things I've never done. I've never been shitted on by a bird before. I've never been stung by a bee. I've never had sex. This is simply a list of things I've never done. Don't think of it like it's anything more, like a poem. I've never been raped before. Made to feel the butterflies hiccup in my stomach as a man stands opposite of the door, hands waiting to sink into my thighs, eyes, 2 bowling balls hurled at my chest, tongue moist with lust and more strength in me enough to lodge his liquor in my mouth. I've never been tongue kissed. Well, except for the time a girl stuck her tongue down my throat and said, "Here, play with it." I tried. I failed. She squealed, said all the butterflies hiccuped in her stomach, and I believed her because one flew past my lips and tried to toe dance past my tonsils. I've never been to Disneyland or World. I hear that there they hide all the clocks so the guests lose track of time and feel like they're in a dream. Reminds me of a casino. I've never been gambling, made to feel like the world was in my hand, or pull or press of the next button, and that Lady Luck was a loose woman I had been lucky enough to pick up on the car ride there. I've never driven legally in a car by myself. I say legally because once a woman I worked for asked me to drive her car in a parade while she handed me out candy, and I was 16, and she showed me the 4 pedals and the 5 automatic transition positions, and I drove 4 blocks before I lost her and got scared and parked illegally. I don't like telling that story. My dad called me stupid after I told him that story. I've never broken a bone before, never been spit on by a white woman, but my mom has. I've never smoked weed before, but all my bitches do. And I've never referred to my friends as bitches until now. There's Serena. Her ass is an oil well. If you tap, all the crude will spout out and stain you. This bitch has sucked on more blunts than all of Young Money and Snoop Dogg combined. Now that's a hyperbole. I've never owned a dog before. In 8th grade, I wanted a beagle. I would name him Beethoven because I thought he'd epitomize the world, how our legs are so short compared to trees, but somehow we're still in the race with big ears and wide noses, ready to hunt and kill with our short legs. I did own a goldfish. I named him Rainbow. I fed him a candy cane and he died. This is simply a list of things I've never done. I've never seen the Lion King before. Never had a life-threatening disease or asthma. Never been a flower girl in a wedding. Never felt like I belonged at the family reunions. I've never gotten pissy drunk. But I have been the pissy girl whose mother never taught her the importance of changing bed sheets and that cleanliness is next to godliness. Thanks.
All right. Good job, judges. Got him up before I even had to say anything. From low to high, we have a 7.9, a 9, a 9 and a quarter, a 9 and a quarter, and a 10. TM Gottel had a score of 29. Our next competitor is Ariana Cherie.
Once upon a problem, there was an accident. When she grew fingernails, deciding to stay, her parents told her she existed on purpose. They say, one day you'll marry someone like your father. She abandoned her dimples in the alley of a man's apologies, mouth full of unrequited promises, tangled in crossed fingers, losing herself in the crime scene of her youth only to have an excuse for a man to drift through her, to be there. Fingers that wrestled with her cynicism, prodded inside like bent arrows, clung to the loneliest parts that never knew it needed to fight back. But at least he stayed. And trying to govern her heart made her an anarchist. Here's why she traded in her love for an Aesop fable. Any excuse will serve a tyrant. It's where she traded in her fear for violence, tortured tantrum of fists and switchblades. It's where she learned to see blood whenever there is conflict. Becoming a voodoo doll, fragile. Even the lines in her poems are broken. Becoming all the reasons why I am single. Telling a bedtime story about yourself to an audience of daydreamers. You heard how they say you will one day marry someone like your father. This means I will engage myself to no one. Meet a man that sees with his hands, gives one-sided conversations with his knuckles on a rampage, and reappear every other eclipse. He will hide my ability to love in the basement of his pants pockets, the pair he never bothers to clean. Love me dirty, heavy-handed, and now from a distance. My thrift store body, half used, half off, half remaining, hardly human. I'm a rebel that no one sees, a witness to social disorders wearing love's name tag, an ending to a story that never stopped, wishing it could live happily ever after instead of just living.
All right. From low to high, we have a 7.9, an 8.75, a 9.5, a 9.5, and a 9.75. Kiara had a score of 27.5. Our next competitor is Akeem Jamal Rollins.
It is not what Pearl Bailey says, but what she doesn't say that makes her comedy so effective. Lorraine Hansberry. 1. It is a stark and naked irony that my favorite color happened to be your last name. You. The aftermath of a fired bullet with glutton tattooed on its inner thigh where only lovers are supposed to see. It was my piñata year, my senior year in high school. Mr. Green. You are a swinging bat in the 4-year-old hands of my high school career. My best male friend was a baseball you home run knocked out of the class attendance. He was 14 when your bat smashed his skin to leathery cowhide. When you first tasted all you could get away with. I'm glad the students believed you so much that the teaching faculty called him crier of wolf, glad that your leotard of wool and sheepskin never fell off to reveal your howl, how he became the runaway joke. I didn't see anything funny anymore. I'm 17, getting undressed for dance class. My basketball shorts are ghost. Ask you for spare dance clothes, you hear nothing but opportunity. It is knocking in your pelvis. Your responsibility never answers the door. You take me to the old dance storage room and show me pans, walls of pans. Why did one man have so many pans? Were you collecting them? Is this your trophy room? I don't need your help getting them on. You can leave. You have this choice. You watch and salivate as if witnessing a meal get prepared. I get dressed faster, feeling the dirty. Your eyes kept staring into my skin. The Peter Pan in your mouth asked questions a man your age should never know the answers to from a boy, all teenager and confusion. How big is it? The guts, punch, floor, dust, drop, jaw, dry mouth, silence. I heard it was big. You have the still nerve. Only a predatory animal that knows the game of my word versus your word far too well can have. Don't you know you're a scavenger? The wolves picked the innocence clean from my bones years ago. I laugh hyenas because I am the joke now. After all, I am too ugly to be wanted. I tell myself this. You let me leave. A clean escape. Walk back to your class covered in what is now our secret. My head too heavy not to drag vision across the floor. My classmates, the 2 boys, my first boyfriend, the other his current love, they call me Mr. Green's boy toy. Everybody know he wants you. Yeah. Like wolves want quiet sheep and lazy guard hounds, we laugh. It is the joke after all. You laugh at jokes. I remember what happens when you don't laugh, too. To the boys who came after, I burst and was no longer touchable. I am sorry that I did not get picked the most desired fruit on the tree, but Adam could only reach the apples. Sorry that I left him there hungry, that he swallowed your smiles. Sorry that I laughed so loud to silence.
All right, from low to high, we have an 8.1, a 9.75, a 9.75, a 10, and a 10. Ariana had a score of 27.75. Our next competitor tonight is Ciara Freeman.
You let them know I went down kicking. A middle-aged habit, dying hard. You tell them I smelled of a cocaine cocktail on a porch with someone you won't remember. You let them know I remember. Tell them I wasn't scared, that death gave me a serious sucker bite at 24, wore a red bandana, had enough hands to choke hold a horizon, been sexting me for years. Real dirty stuff, 9 millimeters giving coked up blowjobs for bullets that smell like bodies you grew up on, a can of mace being handled inappropriately by everyone. Tell them they tame me wild on purpose. Tell them I don't even fuck without a weapon in the immediate vicinity. Tell them I'm as paranoid as an unsolved case. Explain how hard it is to get someone who already figures you are coming. You tell them my thigh is a trap door. You tell them it's haunted. You tell them I like it that way. You tell them it's no need to lube up a threat. Tell them I'm a threat. Explain how to treat a threat. Be a body of blueprints for a torture device. If anyone asks how this works exactly, you will send them to me. Whatever is left will be kicking, will be biting the bullet back, will be hitting rock bottom back. A Venus flytrap that grew from cement and abandoned bodies. The street with your blood written all over it. The dirty needles swimming to shore. Did you know serial killers came in black? You gonna tell them I had 7 babies, 7 puckered bodies, craving a liquid love only produced from my kiss, a spit joy that comes from saying certain names more than any other on the planet. You gonna tell them my name was the first to be erased in his palm grazed. Tell them I was a crack whore from Cleveland, not worthy of a Lifetime movie morning. Tell them I said no. Tell the other 10 women before it's too late. Tell your mama if she be brown and born in our hood. Tell our hood he walks among us, a familiar face of the faceless. Tell him I said no, that it was rape, that I was high, but wasn't shit consensual about my murder, honey. Tell him I said no. Ask them, did they know serial killers come in black? You only willing to make our men monsters when they horns work for you motherfuckers. Tell them I said no. Tell them serial killers come in black. Tell them there were 10 women, no names, nobody cared to ask for. Tell them, say Anthony so well, say Anthony so well, say Anthony so well, see how many people say who, say my name, see how many people say who, say Anthony so well, say how many people say who, say OJ, see how many more people he killed than OJ, say who, say Anthony so well, say serial killers come in black. Say murder, say daughter, say my daughter's name, hear her scream, why? See, why is a murdered parent the corpse, a word you will never forget. Say Anthony so well, say serial killers come in black, come in Cleveland, say victims come in black, come in Cleveland, say justice comes in black, come in Cleveland, say come in woman, come in Cleveland, say something back.
All right. From low to high, we have a 9.25, a 9.5, a 9.5, a 10, and a 10. Akeem had a score of 27.5 after a 2-point time penalty. Peace. Our next competitor is Azriel Johnson.
People! What? Put your shopping carts away. It means more than you might think to the other shoppers and to the lowly cart guy who has to clean up after messy, inconsiderate fuckers who leave their carts out in the lot while other people are wielding 2,000-pound lethal weapons. Sure, dings and scratches on other people's cars aren't your concern, but heaven forbid a cart come in contact with your car. Then it's on like Donkey Kong and King Kong put together. How dare those idiots scratch my car? I'd sue if I knew who did it. Right, but you don't catch who did it, because you did it yourself. Remember that time when you couldn't be bothered to walk the 50 steps to the cart corral because it was sprinkling and you had on new shoes? Yes, it matters. It's the golden rule and the butterfly effect and the threefold law all wrapped up into one. There are 3 steps to avoid getting scratches on your car. 1, put your shopping carts away. 2, help other people in any way you can. Be tall when they're short. Be strong when they're weak. Be steady when they're shaken. Step 3. When you hear a crash of carts coming towards you, stand back. There's a cart man coming through. And remember, if you give of yourself to other people, you will be rewarded. Whether it's by gods, or the flying spaghetti monster, or Newton's law, or the force. If you put a piece of yourself out there to help others, you'll get it back 1-fold, 3-fold, 7-fold, because there is so much shit in the world. We need to start turning it into fertilizer. Let's turn the soil together. Black, white, yellow, brown, red, gay, straight, bi, pansexual, male, female, trans, polytheistic, anti-denominational, Christian, Jew, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist. We all need to contribute. No one can do this alone. But there is one thing we can do ourselves. Put your carts away. Because yes, it matters.
All right, from low to high, we have a 7.3, an 8, an 8.5, a 9, and a 9.1. Ciara had a score of 27.5 after a 1.5-point time penalty. And our final competitor of this, the first of our 2 slams, is Skylark.
He wrapped his fingers around my neck, screaming. He dug his grubby fingernails into my sweaty skin, pleading not to let him go. The desperate outburst from the 1.5-year-old child in my arms erupted because he glimpsed his mother. His mother, su madre, who we believed to be abusing him or looking the other way while someone else did. The belt mark, oh the belt mark, raised welts on the boy's back and the cruel outline of a large metal buckle. Luis arrived that morning as a new admission to the daycare, and on the first diaper change, my coworker discovered the bruising. He slept on my lap most of the day. He should have that much time to be safe. Tranquilo. In Bolivia, Children's Services does very little. They place abandoned children in orfanatos and not much else. The daycare director said she would meet with Luis's mother when she came to pick him up that afternoon. 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock. The hours never marched forward so fast before. Beep! Le toca, Luis! I carefully gathered his few threadbare belongings together. Bailamos! Urged the Santa Cruz sunbeams. Let's dance and we'll soothe his pain. I contemplated taking a circuitous route through the playground on the implausible hope that a moment more away from his mother would amount to something. But I just walked slowly. When Luis saw his mother, he clung to my neck and began to wail. I froze. Mi Dios, what daily terrors has she been serving him? I bent down to stand Luis on the floor, but he tightened his grip, kicking his legs back and forth and crying, "No, no, no!" I turned to the director, Lucy, and she reached out to take him. I pried his fingers loose from my neck and eased him into her arms, and then the hardest moment of all. Turning my back and walking out of that room. I tried to tell myself that Lucy would handle everything, but I knew she couldn't do much. Her hands were bound by parent-favoring laws and politicians who minded nothing but bribes. If ever there was a country whose children needed los políticos on their side, it was Bolivia. My wooden feet could barely carry me to the closest bathroom despite my quivering lower lip and welling eyes. I felt hollow, ineffectiva. After my emotional release, I tamped my heart back down and I returned to the toddler room where 15 more Boliviano children waited for their parents. And I appreciated these parents more now, for despite their flaws, they cared for their children. And I prayed Luis's mother would learn from them. Muy rápido.
All right, from low to high, we have an 8.3, an 8.75, a 9, and a 10. Azriel had a score of 25.5. I'm not supposed to do this. Wait, he's not even out, is he? Where'd he go? Finishing the paperwork. I'm not supposed to do this. Once the slam starts, I'm not supposed to let anybody add their name to the list. However, he drove probably at least an hour and a half to get here, and it's 7 degrees out, so I'll let it go. All right. Our new final competitor of the evening, Miguel Sandoval.
Whoa, okay. Man, I'm short. It had to make me feel bad about myself. Okay, there we go. All right. I watched kids playing kickball in carved streets and dented stop signs, where you could peep slick slang and cop diamonds from crack rock pharaohs. They spoke in segregation,
Black miles and white owls, they cocked back and shot saucers into ghosts. Pitch white skin, white fence, white collar, and a black card. These monsters have been playing the race card for far too long now. It must hurt. Tatted tears on a gangbanger's face to show he should never stop mourning for his soul. Tuxedo ghost put a bullet to his dreams just for some money and his wallet. Time heals all wounds, so he put a Rolex on his watch. Both of them take their index, point to the sky, God, point unto themselves, human, point unto me, alien. I was 9 years old and kickball starved when I was first told to go back to my own country. My first language was English, but I had a hard time grasping this bullet. Handshaking anxiety, I felt my ancestors tying my veins close to my body, telling me to love myself. In a country filled with black and white, I was nothing but border. Still, product of MS-13, gunshots, and real underground trails, these Arizona deserts, war-hungry patrol officers and bounty hunters looking for Mexicans to eat blank checks and bleed ransom notes. This country believes that human rights is gained by place of birth, as if the dirt could tell the difference in our caskets. Everyone else is just collateral damage and water torture. America, your wake-up call will come in the form of a message in a bottle, headed toward Florida shores. The progress in its bob. Look at the way we float on these tires. The letter in our lungs, moving from sea of fuck you spicks and abuelita tears. There's more than one way to become a wetback. We will continue dreaming. With eyes closed, hands still working, fingers dancing, reading stars like Braille, lying on oceans. Our Mayan ancestors have taught us to cherish like children's books. Call me alien now, but when I bleed, I can feel the salsa and its glisten, the horchata and its shine, and these greedy fucks bleed green every time they hand a homeless man $1. Shoving fists in faces and prayer hands every time we patty cake with maseca, speaking with our bodies, the only language we have in common, in a place where no one understands me. Dígame, ¿a dónde se fue tu Dios? Sus niños, el cariño. No, I don't think you understand me. When I say no one understands me, I will continue standing a little to the south, where the sun shades the quotes. Every man's created equal. Holocaust, every man's created equal. St. Valentine's Day Massacre, every man. Trail of Tears, Martin Luther, Alamo. How far down the complexion spectrum must we shoot before we realize we all bleed love and hate and red kickballs to the face? Liberty kids won't love me, they'll abort me, so deport me. Your tunts, spick, you wetback, you illegal immigrant, you fucking alien. They told me all men were created equal, so they labeled me alien.
I lost track there. All right. From low to high, we have an 8.7, a 9, a 9.5, a 10, and a 10. one quick moment. I have to do math. I hate math. I hate math. All right. Skylark had a score of 26.5. And our final poet of this slam, keep in mind, we have another slam coming up, has a score of 26 after a 2.5 point time penalty. What as much as I'd love to say that, we do have rules to adhere to. I so did not need that mental image. Okay, we have a tie for third place here. Rather than have a death match, I'm just going to give both of these poets the points for third place. So, tied for third, we have Ciara Freeman and Akeem Jamal Rollins. In second place, Ariana Cherie. And the winner of this month's regular First Friday Poetry Slam, T.M. Goddell. Yeah, we'll take a minute here because I have to get our finalists to figure out what order we're going in. T.M. Goddell was already qualified for our Women of the World finals and passed on competing due to not being able to go to the competition this March. That means our Women of the World Last Chance Slam winner is Ariana Cherie. So, we're going to take about 5 minutes. I'm going to leave the broadcast and even the recording on. So, if you're watching this recorded later, you can skip ahead a few minutes here. But so anybody that needs to use the restroom, etc., anybody that needs to refresh their nicotine level or whatnot, and our four Women of the World finalists, please see me because you need to pick numbers. All right. Back in 5, which usually means 10, back in 5. lowest score in the previous round will go last. Brownie this is, but it's getting off my table. 30-second warning. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Lake Effect Poetry's Women of the World Final Slam. Our first round will be these 4 lovely lady poets competing for the spot to represent Northeast Ohio at Women of the World Poetry Slam in March. First will be Ariana Cherie. Second will be Skylark Bruce. Third will be Eris Zion Vinay Dyson. I said all that right? Okay. And the 4th poet in this round will be Carla Thompson. First, because we've had to replace a couple judges who aren't going to be able to stay all the way to the end of this, we get another sacrificial poet. Ladies and gentlemen, T.M. Goddell.
Black Rabbit always eats his dinner from styrofoam plates with plastic forks, throwing everything away. Black Rabbit could afford China if he wanted. Black Rabbit just doesn't care. Black Rabbit doesn't speak. Black Rabbit listens, his oval ears pivoting, scooping bowls of noise. Black Rabbit gets to kiss all the girls. Black Rabbit takes all his girls to the elementary school playground after dusk, when all they really want is trust. Black Rabbit doesn't give away trust. Black Rabbit points to the crooked moon shadows, offers his girls an arm, a haunch, even his bare side near his ribs. Black Rabbit's girls all sicken before long, the fevered madness breaking their breaths, his blood dried in spots on their lips. Black Rabbit is covered with scars. Black Rabbit breaks things, cars, crockpots, lamps, end tables, microwaves, windows, glasses, lawnmowers, wills, and girls who trust too much. Black Rabbit listens. Black Rabbit pulls the fire alarm, lets it ring until the cicadas croak in unison. Black Rabbit overdraws his checking account. Black Rabbit doesn't pay fees. Black Rabbit shows a magic trick with spider silk and pocket lint, twisting sticky droplets into the shape of an ear where he whispers all his names. Black Rabbit doesn't speak. Black Rabbit picks all the chocolates from the candy dish and leaves the lemon drops and peppermints. Black Rabbit doesn't ask permission. Black Rabbit prefers top shelf whiskey. Black Rabbit wants to know why you don't smoke weed. Black Rabbit wants you to get wasted just once. Black Rabbit scales the corners of skyscrapers to sleep in his moon mother's full belly every night. Black Rabbit ties dewdrops into hangover parachutes, a fresh call over his eyes every morning. Black Rabbit's mockingbird mother eats bassinet and stroller babies, leaving him behind in their lacy rompers. Black Rabbit doesn't speak. Black Rabbit tells everyone he meets to follow through the stained concrete colonnade of the unused high school, past peeling bubblegum pink of the gas station, behind the charred tables of the greasy sports bar, over the crinkled shine of lava fields and the gates of Valhalla, up to the roof. Black Rabbit spends too much time on roofs. Black Rabbit plays his music too loud. Black Rabbit doesn't listen. Black Rabbit doesn't listen. Black Rabbit doesn't listen. And when no one listens, someone gets hurt. Black Rabbit neglects to mention that he doesn't need wings to fly. Black Rabbit walks off the roof.
All right, judges, you all know the drill. All right, from low to high, we have a 7.2, an 8, an 8.2, a 9.9, and a 10. All right. First in the round, Ariana Cherie.
You knew they would someday write about us. How your name fit comfortably with Sodom and Gomorrah and mine, never spoken into existence. In my final days, I remember so clearly. We welcomed two strangers in our home in an instant, when the men of Sodom congregated around our home, hungry loins, corrupt churches for lips, expecting you to exercise your ability to share. You offered up our daughters to the devil in their mouths, bartered my children. As for the protection of people you had no blood ties to, you thought my back was facing you. The eyebrow raised and my shoulder blades were relaxing. I could feel the tombstones rolling down my legs, wandered scriptures coming out of me untitled, numbered, hollow harlots hiding in the hands of strangers, and not once did you call upon me, said my name, my identity hardening in the dark places of Gomorrah. Remember when we had each other? I wrapped your love for this family around my fingers. Now, your lineage has fled from my grasp. The dead game in my hands must not have growled loud enough. Hip, pressed against hip, Bibles upon Bibles, bore you a family, stood by you when a faceless man told you to run, and I'm right here, corporeal, and you don't even look at me. Lot. Say my name, do you even know? I was worth the one verse, an example of misdirection, another nameless biblical figure, another sinner from Sodom lost in the stones left behind, my husband. You knew they would write about us, kept it to yourself. The Bible verses sunk into my skin, the pages engraved heavy on my breast. I read of what the salt thought of me. It said Lot's wife, as if it were a pet name. The rock salt in my hands prevents me from reaching out to you. Were they soft? What about my eyes? Were they blue, reflecting from the Dead Sea in our home? I used to be too much meat and not enough bone. I am now stuck, gradually burning. I can see something. Something else of me you left behind. I cannot pronounce it. My name is...
All right, from low to high, we have a 7.9, a 9, a 9, a 9.5, and a 9.9. Our sacrificial poet, T.M. Gattel, had a score of 26.1. Next up, Skylark.
Fucking free the people. Big white letters scrawled in dripping spray paint across the back wall of my church. The graffiti scribbler probably hasn't heard of progressive Christianity. Most in my congregation are battle-scarred refugees from evangelical confirmation camps, bearing fresh wounds from weekly rounds of condescending Jesus metaphors. We shudder, seeing the slumped shoulders of the next generation, our backs only recently straightening up after releasing the load of judgment. Fucking free the people? Hell yes! Free us from the vice grips of fear-based sacrificial atonement, when historical Christianity rarely traveled just one improbable, reproachable path. The only thing narrow about Jesus' way is the difficulty the rich and powerful have in following it. And our society's wealth makes so many incapable of sharing the welcome the man from Nazareth extended to the poor, sick, and outcast. But we will find each other. We will heal one another. Fuck, we will free the people. We will free the people from dogmatic creeds and top dog televangelists, obsessed with the brand name on someone else's holy book and worrying we distribute too many condoms and not enough chick tracks. When I repent, it is not for people I have fucked, contraceptives I have swallowed, or cleavage I have displayed. I do not confess guiltily to having questions and doubts about my faith, because the source of love would never chastise someone for pondering why. I do confess the times that I averted my discomforted gaze from a terminally ill person with bed sores, the days I hoped no one would make me think about race because I wanted to marinate in my white privilege. I do confess the times my mind churned into a pool of disgust rather than compassion for the old beggar asking for coffee and a cigarette. Free the people from the church, for the church, by the church. Fuck the free people when they forget to free others. Free the fucking people from clouds of invented shame. Just fucking free the people. Hand me that spray paint. Under this graffiti, I'm writing, "We're working on it." Will you help?
All right. From low to high, we have an 8.6, an 8.6, an 8.7, a 10, and a 10. Ariana had a score of 27.5. Our next poet, Eris.
There's a little girl living inside this grown woman. Hymen torn, kind of like mine's. Her tantrums are my menstrual cramps. She sits Indian style at the base of me, bathing in my unshed womb, blocking my cervix with her toes. Only she can remember our hurt. As the keeper of my sorrow, she relinquishes it piece by piece. Pushing pain through my pores with her palms, they surface as whiteheads carrying the seed residue of forgotten ejaculations on good days. She jump ropes with my bowels and naps because I am busy forgetting about her. Belief making that my molestation toxins didn't stunt her growth. She yanks at my rib cage every time a penis lay in my vagina. My kidneys are her earmuffs to muffle my orgasmic screams and to love her is to fail at everything she's too old to pacify. Her terror lay dormant, flaring like herpes. She clings to my chakras for dear life, crying tears to secrete sweat under my arms. Do you know what it's like to have an inconsolable 7-year-old dwelling in the crevices of you, unbirthable? I drink wine to calm her.
All right. From low to high, we have a 7.8, an 8.9, a 9.3, a 10, and a 10. Skylark had a score of 27.3. Next up, Carla.
So I guess this is a love poem too, or I love Mitt Romney. It's not that I don't love America, because I do. You have to love the land you were born from, no matter how that land was obtained, who bled from it, for it, that's all a part of you. You have to love and respect it, don't you? I think part of loving it is being okay with admitting that sometimes we get things wrong, like how we got here in the first place, and telling people no matter how perceived powerful they are that shit's all bad, and for it to get right, they've got to change the way they're thinking, doing, being. I love this democracy thing enough to say that capitalism is like diabetes. You don't realize at first how many other conditions, disorders it creates. We've been bought and sold the idea that we only suffer because we don't work hard enough, struggle long enough, but bus drivers and lunch ladies tend to be some of the hardest working people I know. The disease is thinking you need more than your mama's cooking, or a walk under thick trees in a light rain, or a chance to throw stones into a clear creek, or watching your 3 or 16-year-old dance, really, for the first time, or slipping into a bed after a real hard day's work. No, the disorder is thinking you're entitled to filet mignon, that an in-home hot tub will bring happiness instead of momentary amusement. I love the wealthy enough to let them know that if you are busy slicing into that rare filet and your neighbor's child is hungry, and you spend 1 minute blaming it on his father's lack of a work ethic instead of making sure that baby has some food, then something ain't right with you. And you think that it's okay that some folks are homeless because they probably drank away their paychecks, and we should knock down these vacant homes so they're not an eyesore like the poor brown, black, yellow, red, white folks who could live in them. And who makes a profit off of a shelter anyway? If you are more worried about a free market and the health of insurance companies' portfolios than guaranteeing that any who are sick and could be healed will be healed, then I'm not a woman of God, but maybe you should ask yourself, what would Jesus do? It's not that I don't love America. I love the idea of being founded on revolution, change, the need to stand up for what's right instead of the need to be it. If we have a land capable of giving us not necessarily all the things we want, but the basic things we need to live, shouldn't everyone feel entitled to and love that?
Stay. Stay. Good microphone. And oh, good. Okay. Yes. From low to high, we have an 8.7, an 8.7, a 9.5, a 9.5, and a 9.9. Eris had a score of 28.2. Give me one quick moment. Carla has a score of 27.7. All right, that means our second round will be Eris, Carla, Ariana, and Skylark. All right, first up, Eris.
Hell hath no fury like a woman with a yeasty vagina. For those who have never felt the devil dancing in Ladytown, imagine, if you will, what it would feel like to swallow Pop Rocks chased with a shot of tequila. My legs are in the stirrups. The doctor comes in with 2 ice-cold salad tongs, pries my vagina open and says, "Oh, I see you're experiencing some irritation." No shit, Sherlock. She writes me a prescription for Terrazol cream. I'm sentenced to 3 days of injecting my cunt like a cannoli. Before my man can feast on me without risking sneezing, honey buns, and crescent rolls, I am irate and chafed, and everyone seems to want to know how I'm feeling. "Hey, Eris, how's it going?" "Oh, you know, I'm good, other than that vaginitis causing a forest fire in my crotch, but thanks for asking." Toilet paper feels like sandpaper, and if my clitoris could grow legs, she would do a double layout from between my thighs, leaving Gabby Douglas wondering why she's sitting here with a silver medal. Like Hansel and Gretel have taken up residence, leaving a trail of Krispy Kremes. There is no fury. There is no disdain, no scorn that can capture the dischargy pits of hell that I am experiencing. Be afraid, my friends. Be very afraid.
All right, from low to high, we have an 8.3, a 9.5, a 10, a 10, and a 13, which unfortunately I have to default back to a 10, but... All right. If she can get herself up off the floor. Next up, Carla.
Letter of resignation. I am tired of you. You with your dead red eyes and slow walk. I am full of the vomit you spew. Tales of frequent molestation and underage extra kindnesses shown to you by older men, some grown and known to you. I hate your group homes, foster parents, and sorry-ass social workers that know less of you than I do after 50 minutes in a crowded room. I detest every cousin, brother, and uncle that got shot before your eyes while mama was out getting high behind your back, and you think absurdly that I don't know you. Too old, too tired, too much a part of the we that just could never really get you. You, despite the lack of willingness to pick one up, are textbook. A classic case scenario, white trash, urban youth, straight ghetto. I do see you, and I find you nauseatingly putrid. The odor of your eager ignorance has long stifled my screams. Your personal horror story is no longer terrifying or significant because it's just so damn common. I wouldn't be so sick if you didn't embrace your depleted condition with open arms and a lover's kiss, pleading, please, please don't take my disease from me. You're too angry to forgive and too afraid to succeed, and me, I'm only afraid of trying. So go ahead. Prove you a for real nigga by failing my class. Show me you a grown-ass woman by flashing that ass. I'll be behind my desk choking on all the stale high hopes I had for you in your now stunted growth. So, you round-the-clock hood sister, you stereotype trailer park cracker, you need to hurry on up and die, nigga, so the rest of us can say a prayer and move on.
All right, from low to high, we have a 9, a 9, a 9.1, a 9.5, and a 9.7. Okay. Eris had a score of 29.5. Next up, Ariana.
It's Friday morning, 7 a.m. Yahoo inbox message reads, 2 black boys were shot in Lorain, Ohio. Check back for more details. Believe violence in hometown deserves a moment, not minute. Make certain not to obsess. Don't know them personally. Voice message says, it's mommy. I'm very sad today. Call me back. Find no connection. It's just a coincidence. Facebook status I read every day, expected yet appreciated. It's morning. We made it. Give thanks. Slideshow of family faces flicker and snapshots. Your sister, all claw, no hand. Brother, termite rage, eats through floors. Mother, sorrow. All a voice message in a bribe away. You become 2 monsters bullying themselves out of your own jar of confusion. Mom answers phone. 2 boys have 2 names, 2 causes with 2 bullets lodged where their hearts once were, certain they did beat when collided into death so suddenly. Brothers, cousins, your cousins, introduced via haunting headlines this day. 24 hours before your family reunion, luck turned bad out of reflexes. You, girl, container full of herself wanting to spill over, and Facebook apologizes. Everyone is so sorry, and the comfort of their own portraits placed peacefully in their picture frames. Family, a hand-made fist needing anything to hit. You don't know mad until you've seen hatred beat itself. Police, bringers of body counts and bad news. Shooter, female. Gunwoman, also cousin. Reasons, ridiculous reasons, violent reasons, uncertain. The fatalities, however, are not. Depression, a state of being half hate and nothing all at the same time. This crime is full of improper nouns. This is familiar. It still does not suffice. The day is newsworthy. You, 10 men with no heart, family still left on a planet full of horizons covered in caution tape. 11:06 p.m. Brother posts Facebook status. 2 of my cousins passed away. As if being human targets is a peaceful occupation, this woman, your cousin, civilian murderer, turns herself in, plastered in bylines. The sunken ship in your spirit rises just to break at the surface. And the Facebook status reread next day like every day. It's morning. We made it. Give thanks.
All right. From low to high, we have an 8.6, an 8.8, a 9, a 9.9, and a 10. Carla had a score of 27.6. Next up, Skylark.
He wanted to live surrounded by beauty. He didn't find it in the mirror. He didn't find it in disappearing family. He didn't find it in health. Though malignants found him and tried to beat him down. Tumors winched his legs together, but they couldn't gloom his toothless smile under an old ball cap, declaring him a union man. They couldn't stop his gnarled fingers from outfitting his electric wheelchair with something new each week. Harold rumbled into the community meal in the park. Barbie dolls in shiny dresses and bikinis hung from the corners of his homemade umbrella. Harold, are these your girlfriends? Harold beamed. Nope, they're my guardian angels. Too bad Mattel didn't make a Robin Hood Barbie, a vigilante to pillage their ample coffers for Harold's hospital bills. A shabby, senior discount apartment passed for Harold's home. When he wasn't in the hospital, Harold never missed the Sunday meal in the park. Barbie dolls, Christmas lights, and streamers adorned his chair and attachments. Denim coveralls masked his depleted skin and over-medicated body. Guardian Barbie, I wish Harold may, I wish Harold might have no pain at all tonight. We cooked lunches to soft, barely chewy perfection. Harold was hardly the only guest with dental issues. Wheelchairs go first. Come on, man, move back. Harold would need extra time with ill-fitting dentures before the hot meal ran cold. Then came September, and Harold didn't. His apartment building neighbor said Harold had eaten his last supper. Hang a Barbie from your umbrella, call it an angel, and remember to let the wheelchair people eat first.
All right, from low to high, we have an 8.8, an 8.8, an 8.8, a 9.7, and a 10. One second, I have a calculator. That's a score of, oh wait, Ariana has a score of 27.7. Skylark has a score of 27.3, which, yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm, like I said, I'm an editor, not a mathematician. All right, that means the next round will be the same order as this round. Eris, Carla, Ariana, and Skylark. All right. First up, Eris.
My 4-year-old niece doesn't like black baby dolls. She only wants princesses. My niece,
who I taught to say black power and put her fist in the air before the age of 1, my niece, who wore a dashiki and an afro wig by age 2, my niece, who knew that monsters and Republicans were synonymous by the age of 3, already understands that fairy tales and black girls never occupy the same time and space. And as hard as I've tried to protect her from this half-truth, half-lie, this myth seeped into her pores before I could do anything to stop it. Now I have to reveal our true identities, that we were born magical anomalies. And when she asks me what that means, I'll say it means that you can be black and woman. You can be poor and happy. You can have nappy hair and be beautiful. You can be fat and sexy. You can be straight but not narrow. And happily ever afters don't always have to be so hetero. You're allowed to have orgasms at the same time boys start having wet dreams. You can play on the football team and still want to cheerlead. And all of these things can make you a princess or none at all. I'll look into her eyes and say our possibilities and our joy is what gives us our crown, and it's not flowing blonde hair or a pretty dress or Prince Charming chasing after you. It's not losing a glass shoe. We were born magical anomalies, a series of square pegs and round holes standing on our own. You are a princess. You have to be, because I can't be a queen without you.
All right, judges, hold them up and keep them up. All right, from low to high, we have an 8.5, an 8.9, a 9.5, a 10, and a 10. Okay. Oh, yeah, wait, because we're... Yeah, it's my brain's jumping all over right now. I just started drinking. Yeah. Next up, Carla. Not alcohol, it's coffee. Caffeine. I haven't had caffeine today, well, except for soda. All right, Carla.
I am a strong black woman. I can take care of me, my man, my children, and my aging parents all by my damn self. I can clean the house, fix a car, cook a meal, and make love all at the same time because I am that fine. I don't need no one to do nothing for me, never. And I am so full of shit that I am about to explode. The same shit that we have been feeding ourselves and our sisters daily for decades, that it is okay to be surrounded by ignorance and weakness because we are so strong. If I have to hear one more person tell me how proud they are of me and how strong I must be instead of actually helping me with my job, lawn, groceries, childcare, orgasm, or general lack of recognition and respect, I might just actually go boom. It is time not just to be strong, but acknowledge that we need help. Mr. Man, brother man, the man, my man, I don't mean to push you away. I need you to stand still, and listen to me. Or did you already close off your ears, dismiss this discussion as some random feminist bullshit, but the only shit here is the piece you stepped in on your way up the good old boy ladder while you were throwing down to me my 75 cents for each one of your dollars. And while I'm staring at your ass through my glass ceiling, I realize that the work is not over. I think maybe if the women of the world were safe, the world would be a safer place. Because I am Malala, taking a bullet to the brain for attempting to use it, assuming that my developing breasts were not reason enough to avoid developing my mind. I am young, Indian, surrounded on the bus, entered on the bus, dying once, dying twice. I am screaming, not my daughter. And so should you. And maybe if the women of this world were loved, the world could be a loving place, because now I'm that 13-year-old out on Huff whose ultimate goal is to be a video hoe, dying a little each day as you tell her she is too black to be pretty and too yellow to be a queen, and she knows more babies' mamas than ladies' wives and mothers, so she thinks it's okay that she don't read so good. And she believes the only way to have someone who really truly loves her for herself and not that tight young pussy is to have a baby of her very own, so she's not alone. She's a statistic, faceless, nameless, and soon to be somebody's, possibly a man's, mother. If the women of this world were loved. Now I am this grown American woman standing before you, bleeding for you, from you, waiting for you to welcome us to weakness, knowledge, and power. There can be no rest. The work is not over, because strong woman that I am, I will keep wilting and dying away until you, my man, until you, all men, recognize the divinity in us, the same divinity we so long ago recognized in you.
All right, from low to high, we have a 9.1, a 9.3. What did you have? Yeah, yeah, hold them all up until I read them all. Otherwise, okay. From low to high, we have a 9.1, a 9.1, a 9.3, a 9.5, and a 10. I try not to point at who gave the score so that if somebody does give a bad score, the poet, yeah, they don't get jumped out in the parking lot, but... All right. I usually do it the other way around. All right. Eris had a score of 28.4. Next up, Ariana.
Thanks for dumping me. Now, maybe I can lose some weight. We met at McDonald's. Damn. I should have seen the warning signs then. You had no pimples. You worked there. Clearly, you knew what was in the food. I stared at you blindly while ordering what could only be considered the doppelganger of blasphemy itself, but I believe it is popularized as a double quarter pounder. Obviously, I was not there for the food. I didn't stay for the food. My body exploded into the after photos of a cow being sacrificed for the sake of a $3.95 sandwich that tasted like a Valentine's Day following a breakup 20 minutes prior. Hey, asshole. Enjoying the sif? Enjoying the solitude of a cheating penis? Sucks, doesn't it? Itches, doesn't it? Me? I'm good. I'm not angry. I'm not mad. The closest thing I've ever gotten to a pleasant anniversary of this damn thing you call Cupid's revenge is when I strategically get everything in Walgreens without ever passing the holiday-themed aisle. I had a dream last night. You were there. You died. A couple times, and yeah, you still have the syphilis, and it still sucks for you. I'm good. Unlike your job. And that burger, I'd like a refund, asshole. Oh, $122.14 worth of a nasty taste you sold to me as fast food. Maybe if you told the food to slow down a little bit, it wouldn't piss off my stomach so much. You know what? I hope you never learn how to read. And the only women you get are the ones that respond to stupid questions like, how old is you? Then have the audacity to ask for money as if someone who could charade their mouth to say things like that would actually have money like that. Dear asshole. You Tyler Perry produced Lifetime movie in the face motherfucker. You Auntie Rita, one ride, dollar menu prick. You broke down, low down, good for nothing sperm donor. I hope you marry someone like Precious. knock her up. She then names the baby Mongo, and it looks just like you.
All right. From low to high, we have an 8.8, an 8.8, a 9.1, a 9.25, and an 11. Which unfortunately has to be marked down as 10, but I couldn't read it off the sheet. So I was waiting for you to finish writing. Okay. Voice of God, what did the previous poet have?
The previous poet had a score of 27.8.
27.8. All right. Last poem in this fierce battle, Skylark.
English speakers sometimes say that Spanish sounds sexy. Mi inodoro se explotó y hay mierda pegado en todas las paredes y el piso ahora. Would the shape of the words remind you of longing looks and furtive kisses if I told you in English? My toilet exploded and now there's shit sticking to all the walls and floor. Only if you're fucking a plumber. It's a lot easier to let loose in bed when it's Dulcita, tus senos parecen grandísimos cuando estás encima. Instead of, sweetie, your tits look huge when you're on top. Try it sometime. Embrace your querido, give him a long beso, and when she puts her hand on your pantalones, suck in your breath and respira. The contours of your lover's form rise to meet your intertwining cells with the soft purr of the rolled R. Oy, amante, Dios mío. Sí. The beams of the full moon washing in your bedroom window do not waver or blush. They, too, are intoxicated on the swell of Hispano-Hablante ardor. Now, Spanish rolling off an attractive person's tongue is no guarantee of pasión sexual. The dimming allure might result from a refusal to use lubricación, or someone who cannot fathom anything other than la posición misionaria. But hey, the Spanish worked. It got you into bed with this person in the first place. If he can't find your ano with his pene, that's on him. And if her lengua has a hard time with the clitoro, maybe she needs more educación sexual. Cójame, jódame, chingame, follame. Come on, they all sound better than fuck me. Not that there was anything wrong with fuck me, it just lacks certain vowel sounds. Maybe it's discriminatory to fellate by phonetics or to grope by linguistics, but is it any different than being sapiosexual, turned on by intelligence, when the sounds that get you hard and wet are words like circumnavigate, portend, circuitous, eviscerate, indefatigable? What makes sapiosexual more respectable than español sexual? Think on that and then find me a super inteligente persona who speaks Spanish. Gracias.
All right, from low to high, we have an 8, an 8.7, a 9, a 10, and a 10. Voice of Zeus, what did the last poet have?
The previous poet had a score of 27.2.
27.2. Odin, what did Skylark have?
Skylark had a score of 26.7.
26.7. All right. Total scores coming in fourth place with a total score of 80.3, Skylark. In third place with a total score of 82.4, Ariana. In second place with a total score of 83.1, Carla. And on her way to represent Northeast Ohio at Women of the World Poetry Slam in March, Eris Dyson. Total score of 86.1. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the First Friday Poetry Spectacular. We will be back here, Karma Cafe. Thank you, Karma Cafe, the show's new permanent home. No longer a nomadic series. We will be back here next month with Alexis Ruel and the debut of her new book, Letter to 20. Also remember our Stardust Poetry series here on the third Fridays of the month, and the Root and Slam Poetry series on the fourth Friday at Root Cafe in Lakewood. The next Lake Effect National Poetry Slam Team Qualifier will be at the Root and Slam on the I believe 25th of this month. The featured poet there will be Phoenix Andre Clouden. And then after that, we will be back here on February 1st. Thank you all. Have a wonderful night.
We have a correction to the previous slam. Eris still won and everything. No, it's Kara Lee tied for third place with a 27.5 along with Hakeem Rollins and Ciara Freeman, earning her 3 points. Good night. Tip your bartender.